Once upon a time, there was a land called Nyayapuram. It was not just a kingdom, it was a sacred place where righteousness resided. Under the rule of King Dharmavarma, justice walked firmly on four pillars. Yet one day, an incident shook the very foundation of that justice. In one of the villages of the kingdom, one day, a man named Sheshaya saw a construction happening rapidly on the plot beside his house. Filled with rage, Sheshaya rushed to the spot. Seeing work happening without his permission on his land, Sheshaya, boiling with anger, shouted, "Stop this work immediately! By what right are you carrying out construction on my land?" Hearing this, Bhaskar, who was overseeing the construction, approached Sheshaya and said, "What do you mean, your land? What documents do you have? I bought this land, and I have the necessary documents to prove it too." Shocked, Sheshaya responded angrily, "I don't believe your words. Perhaps you are mistaken. Are you sure your documents pertain to this land? This very soil holds the remains of my grandfather who spent his life here. Here, I have performed sacred rites for our ancestral spirits. This land is not for sale. Even if the sky falls down, I will never sell it." Bhaskar mocked him, saying, "Is it your ancestors' land? Should I stop my business because of your silly beliefs? You know, the 5 yards of land next to this plot is worth more than your beliefs." Unable to control his rising anger, Sheshaya shouted back, "Value is not measured in gold, Bhaskar. Value is counted through culture and emotion. You may earn profits by constructing here, but you will never find peace by insulting our beliefs." Bhaskar sneered and said, "Enough of this talk. In today's world, whether you've sold the land or not is what matters. Tell you what, I will give you 10,000 varahas right now. Make a deal with me. Otherwise, you'll lose even that." Standing firm, Sheshaya replied, "Agreement. Your 10,000 varahas are nothing compared to my grandfather's honor. This is not about money. Keep your money to yourself. I will fight for my land in the court of law. You called my belief silly. I will prove it wrong and crush your arrogance." Saying this, Sheshaya turned and walked determinedly toward the court. Bhaskar, however, remained unmoved, though fear flickered in his eyes. The next day, both Sheshaya and Bhaskar appeared before the village chief, Virasunudu. After hearing their dispute, Virasunudu said, "Sheshaya, you have a rare opportunity to present your case. If you have any documents proving ownership, please show them." With dignity, Sheshaya stepped forward, presenting his papers, saying, "My lord, this land has been passed down from my grandfather to my father and from him to me. It holds deep emotional value. We perform ancestral rites here every year. Here are the title deeds, tax receipts, and village land documents." Virasunudu carefully examined the documents, nodded slowly, and said, "These documents seem valid at a preliminary glance, but a thorough examination is needed. Until the dispute is resolved, Bhaskar, you are prohibited from carrying out any construction here." Bhaskar quickly jumped in, saying, "My lord, I purchased this land, and I too have supporting documents. This land is vital to my business. If the construction is halted, I will suffer immense losses. Please consider my documents too." Virasunudu replied, "Losses incurred naturally are acceptable, but losses due to violation of justice are destruction. You cannot proceed with any construction until the judgment is delivered. If you defy this, you will be punishable." Bhaskar fell silent, his face showing frustration, while Sheshaya experienced temporary satisfaction. Virasanuru carefully set aside the documents and everyone dispersed. That night, Virasanuru sat reading an old book, lost in deep thought. Suddenly, he heard a knock at his door. Curious, he went to open it and found Bhaskar standing there. Surprised, Virasanuru asked, Who is it at this hour? Bhaskar, respectfully folding his hands, said, Forgive me, my lord, for disturbing you at this hour. Please don't be angry. My situation is critical, hence I had to come. Suspicious, Virasanuru said, I don't know why you are here, but judicial hearings don't happen at night. Come tomorrow and present your argument. Bhaskar, pleading, said, I understand, my lord, but I am in such a dire situation that I had to come. You are known for your honesty. Yet I also know that your daughter's marriage alliance is finalized, but a dowry of 10,000 varahas is demanded, and you lack the money. Virasanuru stopped him sternly, saying, This is a judicial matter, not a family matter. You have no right to talk about my personal life. Leave immediately. Bhaskar persisted. Please don't misunderstand me. I wish to resolve my issue legally. If I receive a favorable judgment, I will give you the 10,000 varahas you need. In effect, he indirectly offered Virasanuru a bribe. Hearing this, Virasanuru sat silently, his heart heavy and his mind clouded with doubts. Bhaskar continued, My lord, sometimes justice should be beneficial to everyone. I didn't forcibly take the land. I even offered Sheshaya money, but he stubbornly refused. If you can convince him to sell the land, he would get money, I would get my land, and you could arrange your daughter's marriage. Everyone benefits. Isn't that also a kind of righteousness? Virasanuru sighed deeply, pondering in silence for a long time. Finally, he agreed to Bhaskar's suggestion and said, Fine, bring your documents tomorrow. I will review both sides' documents and deliver the judgment. Bhaskar, delighted, bowed and said, That's all I needed, my lord. Thank you. And left quietly. The next morning, the court assembled. Everyone waited eagerly to hear the verdict. Sheshaya stood there hopeful, believing that justice would favor him. Bhaskar too confidently awaited a favorable verdict. Virasanuru said, Sheshaya and Bhaskar, after reviewing your documents carefully, I am ready to deliver judgment. The entire courtroom fell silent. Virasanuru continued, Though Sheshaya's documents seem genuine, Bhaskar's documents indicate that his ancestors were granted ownership of the land, and records show it was transferred freely under special circumstances. Thus, Bhaskar holds rightful ownership. Hearing this, Sheshaya was stunned. He cried out, What are you saying, my lord? Where are those records? Who granted it? Which document? Virasanuru showed a document and said, Here it is mentioned that Bhaskar's ancestors were granted rights under specific conditions, and now he must pay you compensation. Sheshaya, heartbroken, said, Compensation? Can you put a price on the memories and sacrifices of my ancestors? This is not just land, this is my heart. This verdict is unacceptable. Bhaskar, seeing his scheme succeed, smiled and said, Enough, Sheshaya. I'll give you enough money. Respect this court and stop causing unnecessary loss to me. Take the money and step aside. It's better for both. Tears welled up in Sheshaya's eyes as he said, If I do that, I would be betraying my ancestors, but now I have no choice. On the day justice is sold, even truth remains silent. Everyone in the courtroom discussed among themselves, some watching silently. Sheshaya, helpless and broken, left the court crying. That night, as Sheshaya sat grieving, Narayana, a clerk at the court, came running to him. Sheshaya Garu, my name is Narayana. I am Veerasenuru's assistant. What I am about to tell you, listen carefully. Sheshaya looked at him, puzzled. Today's judgment was not given with justice but with bribery. I saw it with my own eyes. Veerasenuru took 10,000 varahas from Bhaskar for his daughter's marriage. Shocked, Sheshaya said, Is this true, Narayana? Yes, sir. Justice was betrayed today. That's why I am telling you, don't stay silent. If you remain quiet today, no one else will have the courage to question the judges. Fired up with determination, Sheshaya said, If what you said is true, I will not stay silent. I believed in justice, it betrayed me. Now, I believe in Dharma, it will take me to the king. Immediately with Narayana, he went to King Dharmavarma and filed a complaint. Hearing the whole story, King Dharmavarma said, Sheshaya, you are accusing a judge of serious misconduct. Do you have any evidence? This is not an accusation, my lord. It is my pain. I have Narayana here as an eyewitness. The king turned to Narayana, who confirmed the bribery. The king, furious, ordered, Bring Veerasenudu and Bhaskar before me. The soldiers quickly produced both before the king. Dharmavarma addressed Veerasenuru. You have been accused of accepting a bribe and giving a false judgment. Speak the truth. Veerasenuru, sweating heavily, stood silent for a moment and then confessed, Yes, my lord, I took the money and wronged Sheshaya. Please forgive me. The entire court gasped. King Dharmavarma roared, You mix justice with personal gain. You have left a black stain on our judicial system. Turning to Bhaskar, he said, For your selfish gain, you bribed a judge and killed the faith of an innocent man. What do you say? Bhaskar replied cunningly, My lord, I didn't force anyone. I just offered help when Veerasenuru came seeking it. The king said, Your words are clever, Bhaskar, but bribing justice is not cleverness. It is a crime. Then Dharmavarma pronounced judgment. Veerasenuru is dismissed from his judicial duties and must surrender the 10,000 varahas to the public treasury. He shall spend the rest of his life in public service to repent. Veerasenuru, weeping silently, accepted the punishment and walked away. Turning to Bhaskar, the king said, Your business license is revoked. Your constructions will be handed over to Sheshaya. You must serve the kingdom as a laborer for 4 years, not for wealth, but for Dharma. Bhaskar protested, but the king silenced him. Not counting money, but serving Dharma, that is your punishment. Thus, Sheshaya finally received justice. From that day, the word bribe became a shameful term in Nyayapuram. It was proven that whether one buys or sells justice, ultimately Dharma triumphs, and that victory depends on our courage. Sheshaya had proven it